Foxborough Rush coming your way. As always, great to be with you, and on Labor Day of all days. So hopefully you are enjoying yours on this beautiful day in New England. Annabelle Hasselbeck, Jade McCarthy with you. The Patriots are laboring, of course, because they're getting set for Week 1 kickoff against the Las Vegas Raiders when it officially counts, comes our way this Sunday. NFL football, it is here, AB, right? Like, are you pumped? It's this week.
Let's go. I know it came pretty fast, but like you said, happy Labor Day. But this is a Vrabel team that is stressing no days off. So there they are out at practice today.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No days off, no plays off, right? And I know some of the talk coming out of Foxborough continues to be, look, you might have, 70 snaps, but the difference often comes down to one or two of them. So you got to make sure that you're making the most of every single one of them. Some news coming out of Foxborough. The disappointing news, and really for him, is that, quarterback Christian Gonzalez continues not to practice. And Mike Vrabel said he's not anticipating that he's going to be out there. He's been dealing with that hamstring injury. Look, hamstrings are notoriously tricky injuries, and the soft tissue injuries, I feel like we see them all the time, AB. So obviously he's going to go into the week wondering if he's going to be able to be out there against the Raiders, given the duration of this. My sentiment on this one would be, let it heal. Please, make sure that it's fully good to go, because if you send him out there and he tweaks it and then all of a sudden, he's out for another few weeks. So just give him the time that he needs to make sure that he's set on this one. But obviously, tough day, tough week if he cannot get back out there for Week 1.
Yeah, that's not a name you don't want to see ready to go for Week 1. I don't think any Patriots fans are jacked up about that, but you'd rather see them take this with the utmost seriousness because, like you said, hamstrings are injuries that even if they're 99% healed, it is so easy to re-injure that. I dealt with a hamstring throughout my college playing days, and let me tell you, I didn't let it fully heal, and I'm still dealing with it to this day. So, Gonzo, take your time, man. It is not worth it. You don't want to be, in pain just walking. Right. And so that's a thing. Yeah. And they need him. This is a player that they absolutely need. So if you're not ready to go Week 1, it'll be interesting to see, does he practice the rest of the week? Right. I think that'll be the huge teller even by the end of today, if we see him at all. But yeah, not a name that people are excited to see that isn't practicing today, but you want to be the best team come the postseason and come late in the season. So you got to peak at the right time.
Yeah, 100% injury rate in this league. Everybody hopefully starts healthy at Week 1, and then it typically goes down a little bit from there. Maybe you get a bump in health, with the bye week. But the reality is you want to start the season at 100% if there's any chance that you can. So Gonzo's gonna sit out, at least the way it seems right now. We'll see when he is able to get back out there, and we'll continue to keep tabs on that. The other news coming out of Foxborough today, it actually broke on Friday with the Patriots releasing Jabrill Peppers. Mike Vrabel spoke about that not too long ago over at the stadium. Let's take a listen.
Well, I think that these things, are tough decisions. I think we're just trying to get it right, and a lot of respect for Jabrill as a person and as a player, and what we felt like was in the best interest of the team at this point was allowing him to have another opportunity elsewhere. There's a lot of things that go into these decisions, and they're never easy, and we're just trying to get it right collectively. And again, I know that there's a personal side and professional side. I talked about that with the players this morning, and whether you agree with it or disagree with it, just try to respect it and move forward and continue to build a team, continue to build a program. And I know Jabrill, will do good things in this league and outside of the field as well. He's a passionate player, and again, got a lot of respect for him.
With Coach Vrabel talking about Peppers and obviously the respect that he has for him as a person. He had a little over $4 million owed to him this season. So that, what have you thought sort of led to the Patriots keeping him on this roster, from a from a financial standpoint, unless it was an injury or something that happened that then would have to, have them pay him in upcoming seasons. For his part, Jabrill Peppers did send out a tweet saying, hey, look, going on 9 years in this league, 7 head coaches and 6 DCs. There's nowhere you can put me and no scheme you can put me in that I can't play. But I think that you really heard the gist of the personal and the professional from Coach Vrabel there, talking about what he's trying to build here in New England. And obviously, this was a decision that collectively, he and his head coaches came to and decided that this was the best move for the team overall, but certainly one that caught many people off guard, AB.
Definitely. No, I had to double check my phone twice when this news broke. And I think a lot of Patriots fans did as well. It's not, we didn't hear his name getting thrown around in any trade rumors, even though there were some reports that his name was thrown around in early August. But yeah, I think what I appreciated from this was how Vrabel handled it with a lot of respect, saying he's going to still have success and do well in this league and he'll, have opportunities elsewhere. But you have to imagine that because Peppers was defending himself on Twitter this morning, putting out that tweet, that there definitely was it probably didn't go over as peacefully as Vrabel maybe made it seem. So you have to assume that he was softening the blow, if anything, in that press conference.
Yeah, I mean, I think he obviously does have a lot of respect for him as a player and probably as a person. But for whatever reason, and he's not going to give us all the backstory on it. We all know that. But for whatever reason, they decided it wasn't the best fit, and that conversation, I think we all see the coaches post the, hey, you made the team, hey, you did this, right? We don't see the other side of it in these conversations. And they're obviously difficult to have. I don't think that there's any question about that. We've all, at some point in our life, been on the receiving end of difficult news. And I imagine this was such as that. But we'll see, what the future holds for Jabrill Peppers. But obviously, he was a coach favorite for a long time here in New England, did a lot of positive things for this Patriots team. We'll see where the future leads for him. The future for some other guys on this team includes wearing that special C, as voted by their peers, the captains named today by the Patriots. 4 of them, kudos to you, first-year captains, 4 of them. One of them being, of course, the quarterback in Drake Maye. Also, special teams, Brendan Schooler, the ace of special teams, if you will. He has been voted as a captain. And then 2 on the defensive, 3 on the defensive side of the ball, but 2 in terms of first-year captains. That is the cornerback, Marcus Jones, and then on edge, Harold Landry III. The other 2 are tight end Hunter Henry in his 3rd year as captain, and Robert Spillane, who came over from the Las Vegas Raiders, was a 2-time captain there in Vegas and is voted as a captain here as well in New England in his first season with the Patriots. So it's a big deal, right? I mean, these are your leaders in the locker room. These are the guys that, they're voted by their peers, but they're also ones that Mike Vrabel will lean on to be leaders and to, have sometimes challenging conversations, always important conversations, right? And they're asked to do it not just with their words, but with the way that they approach, day-to-day life as a professional in the National Football League, AB. Any names here that surprised you, or was this sort of among those that you may have expected to be voted as captains of this team?
Yeah, well, I think it comes at a great time when you think about that 4 of the 6 of these guys are on defense, right? And now we're kicked off the show with the uncertainties on defense. Gonzo being hurt, Peppers being released. There were questions about Duggar, right, earlier last week. And so I think that's huge timing, right? And also just to see a guy like Harold Landry, like new to the team, and Robert Spillane on this list, that's showing you like who really stepped up as leaders in this preseason, in this training camp, coming into a new Vrabel team. And I think it's exciting for Patriots fans to be able to lean on the defense in that way. And obviously, your quarterback who will now have a fresh year when he is the guy. So yeah, I love this captain lineup and super pumped about the new players too, who haven't just been in this Patriots team for a while.
Yeah, I think it's reflective of a new regime in Foxborough, right? New voices. Obviously, you have one, and in the tight end Hunter Henry, who has this is now his third year as a captain here. But we've heard from this rookie class how much they've come together. I feel like we've seen a lot of this cohesion in the different rooms, position rooms across this team, and I think in some ways this is reflective of the changes that have happened here in New England and are going to continue to happen. So our tip of the cap to the captains of this Patriots team. Let's go through a couple of predictions for the season. Right, it's always prediction week as we get set for the first game, of the 2025 NFL season. That, of course, will be the Eagles and the Cowboys. Come Thursday night, Patriots open up with the Raiders in town on Sunday with a 1:00 kick. So you look at sort of the predictions for the season, and we'll look at the division as a whole. We'll look at the AFC as a whole as well, coming up in just a bit here. But let's narrow in on the Patriots a little bit. Most improved player, AB. If you had to fill that category out for me, where would you go?
Yeah, I'm going Ramondre Stevenson because the problem that he had last season was ball security, right? And taking care of the ball. And that's a fixable problem. Vrabel even said to himself that fumbles aren't just on one person. And you look at this offense, everything around Ramondre has gotten better. Your protection, everyone, even if your coaching staff of how it's going to go. Now you have Travion Henderson to help you in there as well. And this team is going to value the ball more than ever. And I do think Stevenson is going to have to rise to the occasion because he doesn't have a choice, right? So I think it's a fixable problem from what he was dealing with last season. And it's somebody who is going to put his head down and really listen to his coaches and thrive off of the better offense that he has with him this season.
Yeah, I like that pick, especially because ball security is something that, Vrabel has basically said is a tenet of what this team is going to be, right? It's going to be, going after the loose ball or being able to knock a ball loose and create turnovers, but then also offensively, ball security. It's something that you have to win time and time again. I'm going to go Drake Maye here with the quarterback. I think that, for Drake going into a sophomore season with a new offensive coordinator and Josh McDaniels, who's had so much success with quarterbacks from that OC spot over the year. I think that we've also seen Drake really grow as a captain, being elected to captain. And we've seen that leadership growth throughout the course of the offseason here. So I think that we're going to see that transition onto the field. We've obviously seen the Patriots invest in the offensive line. I think that's going to be a benefit for the quarterback as well. And you mentioned that run game. So we're like playing off of each other here, AB, because, if Ramondre has a most improved year, that's just going to benefit his quarterback. And obviously the addition of the rookie there, I think, is beneficial for him, in Travion Henderson. All right, comeback player.
We could have said the whole offense as a whole.
Yes, we totally could have 100%. I think that the expectation is that the defense is going to have to hold them in, and this offense is going to develop throughout the course of the season. So we'll see if these prove to be correct. Comeback player of the year. Who do you have there?
I got Stefon Diggs. I know he might be new to the Patriots, but this is his comeback to just football, right? It's a brand new team. You're coming off a huge injury. And I think because of the status of the NFL and how players are able to come back from injuries every single year, you kind of forget how serious they are and really how hard it is to overcome them. So I'm going to go with Diggs. I think a lot is made of wide receivers when they hit a certain age, when they get to 30. Diggs is 31, but the Patriots brought him in here to be the guy. He's proven in the past that he can have, plus 1,000-yard seasons. And I do think that with the targets that Drake Maye will look for him, I think he'll have the ability to do that. And I think if he is able to make those leaps and come week one and start from the beginning, that Diggs can really be that comeback player of the year for the Patriots.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's my comeback player of the year on this team as well. I think that the Patriots, need him to have a good season, quite honestly. But I also think that when you're coming off of an injury of the caliber that he has, and look, we've seen him take strides, be ahead of schedule. I think that there's no reason to think that he's not going to be impactful on this team. And for all the reasons that you named as well. Look, I mean, this is a guy who has had a lot of success in this league, but I think he has a bit of a chip on his shoulder, and he wants to show that he can still do it. He wants to show that he can be a guy who can have that meaningful and significant impact on a team once again. And we've seen some of that chemistry develop between him and Drake Maye. And I think it'll be fun to see it in game situation. I think we're all looking forward to that. Pats Nation certainly wants to see that out there. But for a myriad of reasons, I do think that he's the comeback player on this team. All right, let's go to Rookie of the Year. I feel like we're going to be in sync on this one. Something just tells me.
I think so too. If you're saying Travion Henderson, then we're both spot on. Is that right? Okay, good. No, and this was no doubt in my mind. And I think mainly the reason too is because this is a guy who's going to show up when it's a preseason game, when it's a playoff game that matters, when it's a game that doesn't matter. Like, this is a guy who's going to come in and give you the same amount of effort and fight and finish throughout the entirety of the season, and isn't going to get complacent. And you've seen what he did in the preseason. I mean, he played so well, they didn't even dress him in the third preseason game. So totally all my money's on Travion Henderson for Rookie of the Year for the Patriots.
Yeah, 100%. And I think everyone around the league is taking note as well. I mean, all you have to do is look at all the fodder around fantasy running back drafts and how he's moved up the board. I think there's a lot of people that are going, okay. I think it goes back to what Elliot Wolf said about him, right? Like, he is an explosive player, and he has a speed that we haven't seen here in New England in a very, very long time. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think Josh McDaniels is pumped about what Travion can do and the different ways that he can use him in this offense and the different ways that he can be impactful for this team. So when it comes to Offensive Rookie of the Year, my money is on him. Offensive Player of the Year, who do you go with this one?
I'm going to go Drake Maye. And for all the reasons that you said at the top of the show with him, everything around him has been elevated. It's also a very different year for Drake Maye and what he's walking into. You get to be the starter from day one, from OTAs till week one, until you take the field with your team. I think that creates just a different mentality for you as well. And he really got thrown into the fire last year. And I think this is going to be an awesome test for him to show what he's able to do in his second year in the NFL. But he's even said it himself, like, his availability is his best ability, and he has got to stay healthy. He's got to protect himself. And last year he was, throwing himself and trying to be the hero. This year he probably doesn't have to do that as much. He can protect himself, not worry about getting those extra 2 yards, because everything else around him is better. And I think he's going to have an incredible year.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he is probably the Offensive Player of the Year on this team. I think that's what this team needs him to be. I know that's a lot to put on the shoulders of a pretty young quarterback in this league, but that's also just the reality of being a quarterback in this league. And I think that he'll see the growth that I mentioned a few minutes ago under Josh McDaniels. I think he'll also be benefited by, the investments in the offensive line, the investments in the run game here, and from a receiver core. Hopefully we see some of these young guys step up and be the receivers that a quarterback needs. Obviously you have Hunter Henry, who will factor significantly into this offense as well. But I expect to see a lot of positive growth from Drake Maye. And I think that's the thought around the league as well, just that the trajectory really can move rather steeply up the hill, if you will. If things come together the way that they're obviously hoping that they will in Foxborough. All right, Defensive Player of the Year. This one was a little trickier for me, AB. I had to kind of dig in and think about this one a little bit. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I want to go with Christian Gonzalez because he's a guy who you're going to notice it. It's going to stand out to you. You're going to, okay, he's shutting down his match. And like we've said with Drake Maye and like we've said with Ramondre, everything around him has been elevated. So his job is going to be so much easier. But I also want to say Milton Williams. This is a guy who the Patriots have really invested in this offseason. He's coming off a Super Bowl win with the Eagles. And the game is going to be won in the trenches. And I think he's going to make, if he's able to do his job and do it the way that he said he's taking responsibility for, I think that is going to elevate this Vrabel defense.
All right, we'll give you the split. I'm going to go with the newcomer and Robert Spillane. And I saw that, he was named captain, and he was someone that I had sort of made some notes about and was thinking, this could be the guy. And I do think a lot of that goes back to the impact that he can have on the field, but then also the fact that really what Vrabel talked about when they brought him in here, which was he's a really vocal guy. He has really taken that leadership role and run with it since he got here. He's high energy. He plays, with violence, which we have heard Vrabel talk so much about, right? Like he likes those defenders that are going to play violently and go after the football and have that physicality that Vrabes once played with and still jumps in there and gets bloodied. And that was sort of a moment of training camp, a defining moment that we've talked about. But I think that Spillane is one of those guys that can be an energy setter on this team. And has the ability to make the type of plays that other guys grab a hold of, and helps them up their game as well, which is what you want every captain and really every player on this team to do. And that's why there has been this emphasis within the team of know the guy next to you, know the guy across from you, know what motivates them, what gets them going. Because when you know people, you play harder when you play with them. That's just the reality of it. We all know what it's like to have a teammate or, to use the row the boat together, right? From Minnesota, if you will. But that's a big part of what Vrabel, I think, has tried to build within this team, which leads me to the MVP of this team. And I'll give mine away first, AB, because I went a little bit outside the box here, but I'm going to go with Mike Vrabel. I know he's not a player on this team anymore. He was obviously for a number of years, but this is his foundation. This is his team. We've seen him get in there and mix it up with some of these players. And to me, the reality is that this is the new regime. This is a new era for the New England Patriots. And it's going to be what Mike Vrabel wants it to be. And the players who are going to be here and be productive here and be successful here are all going to be in line with this foundation that the head coach has built, and is very diligent and very specific in terms of this is where we are, this is where we're going. And he's going to connect with guys on a personal level. He's going to demand a lot from guys on every level, but that is going to be the determining factor of how quickly this Patriots team is able to get back into relevance when it comes to postseason football.
I would agree with you that even if you just did team MVP for the training camp, that it would be Vrabel. I think everyone has been blown away by how he has conducted himself, but not surprised, right? It has been whoa, you got rid of that guy. You got rid of him. You said that, but it's a command that the Patriots have lacked for years now. And I think that's what's so exciting. So if it's not the team MVP, if it's not Vrabel, then it's got to be Drake Maye, because he is one of the reasons why Vrabel wanted this job to come to the Patriots, because he's a quarterback that he knew he could thrive with, knew he could coach, and the team will go as Drake Maye goes. So I think those are both two awesome picks for potential team MVP. They go hand in hand. But yeah, I think out of this training camp, Vrabel has definitely won the show for team MVP. Yeah. We'll see what the regular season holds in store. And as I said, it was a little bit of an out of the box pick. But at this point in time, I just think that he's it foundationally for this team, and he's looking to develop players who are going to suit the creation that he has, dreamt of since he was first a head coach in Tennessee. And then obviously, he spent time last year in Minnesota and probably tweaked some things, because that's what you do, as a lifelong learner and every stop along the way. But obviously missed being that head guy and being able to be the one who
it all rolls up to, and who is responsible for all of it. So we'll see what the season holds here in New England with week 1 upon us. All right. We'll take a look at some of the odds when it comes to the Patriots on the other side of a quick break here on Foxborough Rush. Plus, a little bit later, we'll look at the AFC as a whole and make some predictions there. Stick around. We're back with you next. Foxborough Rush coming back at you on this Labor Day. Hope you are enjoying the sunshine here in New England. We're making some predictions when it comes to the Patriots this upcoming campaign, the first under head coach Mike Vrabel. So these odds coming to us by way of DraftKings. New England to win over 8.5 games. It's minus 110. I should note that the under is also minus 110, AB. So let's look at that over, though. Will you take the over on trying to win 8.5 games here in New England?
Yeah, I would. Let's go, right? The Patriots should win over 8 games. And if math is real, okay, if math is real and you say that, hey, the Patriots are going to sweep the Jets and sweep the Dolphins, that's already 4 wins, which is the total amount of wins that the Patriots had last season. So if math is a real thing, you add those up, you look at who the Patriots have added in the veteran free agency, you look at the fresh legs that they got in the draft, and you have to say, okay, can they add to that 4 number? I think so. And so those are 4 wins in your division. I think you can get over 8.5.
All right. We'll see what it's going to look like. I think trying to beat a team twice in the same season, and you know this as well as I do, it is a lot harder than people necessarily think. I mean, yes, in the standings, those games basically count for a game and a half, but trying to beat the same team twice, sometimes in the span of a couple weeks, is not always easy. I think whenever you look at any of these odds, it all seems to be right around 8. And the Patriots, going to double their win total from a season ago, or are they going to be able to do more than that? So is it going to be 8 or is it going to be 9? That seems to be where this team finds itself in win totals. I like this. I don't love it. I mean, I think that they certainly could win 9 games, but I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze on this one, if you will. All right, the Patriots plus 475 to win the AFC East. We all know this division has gone through Buffalo, much like it used to go through New England. These days, it goes through Buffalo. They're the favorite to win the division. They should soundly win this division, I would say. I don't know. Would you take this one?
Yeah, this is a bet you could take, but not this season. Okay, we're talking about the 2025 Bills. This is a team that's Super Bowl or bust. So this is an absolute risk that I'm definitely not willing to take. Josh Allen reigning MVP. There's a list of reasons why this would not be a great idea.
Yeah. I mean, it's a nice payday, but the reality of the Patriots winning the AFC East, I think that's going to require, some outside forces, up there in Buffalo, if you will. I think it would be very, very tricky, barring some type of injury or something like that, really disrupts the Bills season. There's a lot of people that are picking the Bills to go to the Super Bowl and finally having a chance to win that title. So there's a reason that this is what it is. So I can't say this is one that I'm going to make. All right. The Patriots make the playoffs. This one again, plus 115 here. Vrabel has said, that's his goal, win the division, get into the playoffs, eventually, obviously go on and win a title. I think all those things will have a chance to happen. I think they're probably going to require more patience than just 2025.
Yeah, you're going to need patience. Is it out of this world? No, it could definitely happen when you look at the other teams that they'll be competing with, because there's now 7 teams that make the playoffs in each conference. So it's easier than it was, years ago to make the playoffs. I think for that reason, yeah, you could probably buy on this. They're not going to win the division. So there's that obviously that we just spoke about. Not a huge risk here with this statement, but it's going to be an uphill battle for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, you can factor in the whole strength of schedule. The Patriots have one of the easier strengths of schedule, in the NFL this season. I always caution that, strength of schedule statistic and the numbers associated with it, because it's all based on last year. And all these teams have changed over the course of the off season or the non-playing season. So it's tricky to sit there and say, well, okay, I mean, your strength of schedule is this, when it's not based on your actual team for this season. Just look how many moves the Patriots have made. They're a very different team than they were a season ago. So I think you can weigh that a little bit and say, okay, maybe, they're not playing the schedule that the Giants are playing, for example, but just, tamper back just a little bit when it comes to the strength of schedule. I agree with you. They could make the playoffs, but I also wholeheartedly think that there are some stronger divisions in the AFC that are probably going to have more teams pulling into the playoffs. To reach the AFC Championship game, the chip in the AFC, 16-1 are the odds on that one, 25-1 to win the AFC Championship. Not happening.
You're lighting money on fire.
I would love it, but not happening.
Yeah. You know what? I think to be financially smart, probably not this one. Yeah, like maybe in a few years, this could be a real possibility. But what we're witnessing right now with even just the Chiefs and the Bills, if you just want to look at those two teams, the Bills, have to get to a Super Bowl. That's one conversation, but the Chiefs are still in their golden era. And to come up with any reason why this year's Patriot team could surpass that, that's a little difficult to do.
Yeah. I mean, and that's not even to throw out, like the Baltimore Ravens. And, there's some other teams that are decidedly ahead of where the Patriots are just from a roster perspective, quite honestly, at this point in time. They're just at a different inflection point than where this New England team is. All right, Drake Maye, this one coming from FanDuel, over 3,275 and a half passing yards on the season. You can see it there, minus 114 on this one. May finished his rookie campaign with 2,276 passing yards, 66, passing completion percentage. AB. So this would be a definitive jump for him. You buying or selling this one?
Yeah, I'm buying this because I think it's number one. I think it's a safe bet. But you also look at the season that Drake Maye had last year. He didn't come in until week 6. He misses a couple games because he gets hurt. He didn't have any protection, didn't have time to throw. And still, he's only, almost 1,000 yards under that number that's in that statement. And so I think for the regular season. And so I think because of the difference of the year that he's going to have this year, even coming into it, he has so much more opportunity and everything is elevated, even the coaching and the help that he's going to get from that front. So yeah, I would definitely buy on this one for Drake Maye.
Yeah, I'll take it too. I mean, I think it's just one of those, you're going to have a very different season from him. I think the jump, as I said before, is something that really the trajectory can move upward quickly. For Maye as a quarterback, I think that, the system is different and obviously there's some growth associated with it. But I think that in many ways we've seen a lot of growth from the quarterback throughout the course of the offseason and obviously the commitment to working with the guys that he has here. So I like this. I mean, I don't think there's any reason, not to say, okay, like we could see him having significant success this season. Does he have enough receivers with which to do it? We'll find out. I mean, those are sort of some of the questions that we're continuing to ask. But I think he, as I said earlier, he has a great tight end in Hunter Henry. I think that's going to help. I can also, see a lot of, the little like pass off to Travion Henderson and he's going to go and all of a sudden, it's a pass play and it's not a run from your running back. I think we're going to see some of that. I think Josh McDaniels will have a lot of fun, designing some of these plays for this team. Okay. If you like that one, then let's take you to this one. Diggs to have over 1,000 receiving yards on the season, plus 250 on this one. Last Patriots receiver to go over 1,000 yards was Julian Edelman back in 2019, finished with 1,117 receiving yards. This would be significant for Diggs. Not because he hasn't done it before, but because he's in a new system and a new quarterback, and he's coming off of a major injury.
A major injury. And you know what? This is a difficult one, like you said, but I think because I said he was going to be the Patriots comeback player, I got to give it to him. I'm like, okay, we're going to go all in on Diggs. And, it hasn't happened in a long time in New England. And, it's a spread it around offense. That's why. But I think it's exciting, right? I think that's something that you can root for. And he's also proven that he's been able to do this in the past, right? This isn't some guy who we're completely hedging our bets on. I think he's completely capable of this, and the Patriots have brought him in to be the guy, right? We're not saying, hey, we're not picking a random wide receiver in the group and saying, will you have 1,000 receiving yards? Like, this is a guy who we know they're going to target. And so I got to give it to him. Comeback player of the year for the Patriots, Stefon Diggs, hopefully will be able to be that wide receiver that the Patriots have not had in many years.
And the Patriots need him to be. I mean, I think that's the other component of this one. They've made him the guy, as we've said. We're going to see what he looks like, out there in the actual game. I think that is a huge part of what everybody's waiting to see, right? Like, what is Steph going to look like in a game? We've saw these glimpses, we've seen them like throughout camp and all that, but we didn't see it in the preseason. So what is it really going to look like when he's on the field in game action? I'm anxious to see it. I know that I'm not alone in that one. I'm also excited to see it. I think that, there's been enough positive that has come out between him and Drake Maye that we've been able to pick up with on the field during those training camp practices, that, I think there's something to be said for that. And there's something to be said for the fact that, yes, there are certainly other receivers that are going to contribute to this offense, but they do need to have one guy be the guy. And it's been pretty clear, at least at this point, that they think, Steph has the ability to do it. And he's been ahead of the curve on his, return from the injury. So we're going to give it a roll and see what he's going to bring to the table here. All right. Here's one for the rookie. I know a kid that you and I are both rooting for in Travion Henderson. Obviously, he has shown his explosiveness throughout the course of the preseason here, but will he be the Patriots' leading regular season touchdown scorer? Plus 225 are the odds on that one. What say you? You buying that one?
Yeah, I am, because last year it was Ramondre who led this team in touchdowns with 7. And Travion Henderson is not only going to have opportunities in the run game to do that, but also in the passing game. And if it's anything like we saw in the preseason, in special teams as well. So you're going to get a bonus, 1 or 2 extra touchdowns there, hopefully. So yeah, I think this is a total possibility for Travion Henderson in this Patriots offense.
Yeah, I think it's super exciting. I would agree with you. I think that there's no reason to think that maybe he can't be their leading touchdown scorer. Again, like, there's multiple ways with which he can score, and they're going to find multiple ways to get the ball in his hands because of his explosivity and because of the fact that he's going to bring in a lot of excitement, and he's tough to stop. I mean, the dude is fast. He's got wheels. So they're going to find ways to have him get the ball in his hands. And, whether it be, like you said, on special teams, whether it be, as a back, whether, they're going to do some screen passes and, there he goes. So I think it's one of those things that we could see him in the end zone quite a bit. And I would also go back to his character, right? I think that this is a kid who, I don't care how many touchdowns he has or he doesn't have, he's going to approach this game the same each and every day. And I think that's hugely beneficial. As long as he is healthy, I think that there's a reason to believe that he has the ability to be getting the ball in the end zone quite a bit for this Patriots team. All right, couple more to get through here. What this one also tied to Trey. Could he be the rookie of the year? At 12-1 odds for him to be the offensive rookie of the year in the National Football League. What do you think?
Yeah, listen, it's not a huge risk. It would give you something to root for, and it very well could happen, and there's a lot of competition in this offensive rookie class for the NFL. But Travion Henderson is a guy who people are equating to Christian McCaffrey. Like, there's nothing he can't do. And he's not a name that is being circulated as frequently as Ashton Genty, who would probably be his competition in this offensive rookie of the year race. And so I think that's kind of awesome. I think it's kind of dangerous. He's kind of the sleeper in that sense because he's not the starting running back for the New England Patriots, right? Whereas that's the situation for Ashton Genty at the Raiders. And so, yeah, I mean, I think this is definitely something you could go in on and root for and be super excited about.
Yeah, why not? I mean, this is kind of one of those you go, oh, okay. I mean, I'm watching this team. I'm a fan of this team anyway. Like, let's just see how he does, and let's just go for it. Roll the dice with him a little bit. And look, I mean, we get to watch him and Genty at the season opener, which I think is going to be a fun one to watch, not just because we have football back again. But I'm curious of the start that Ashton Genty is going to have, as a back for the Raiders too. And obviously they're in a new space with Pete Carroll in his first year as the head coach out there as well. So two teams with two coaches who, have some proven success in this league, obviously. Pete Carroll with a Super Bowl title to his name as a coach. And it's going to be a fun season as we get going here with football. Week 1 is upon us. We'll take a wider look at the AFC as we continue on the other side right here on Foxborough Rush. Foxborough Rush coming back at you on a Monday afternoon. Look, AB, this is the time of year where everyone's like, I feel pretty good about where my team is because, it's all square at the top there. Nobody has a losing record. Not yet. We're almost there. Look, I mean, when we talk about the AFC, let's start with the East. I think we're both in agreement here. This is Buffalo's division to win and to lose for that matter. I just think that they're in a different place, as a team, as a franchise, than any of the other teams in this division.
Yeah, the next thing for this team is the Super Bowl, right? And they're going to be content with nothing short of that, even just getting there, right? Like, they want to win this whole thing. And they've also upgraded their defense, right? Adding Bosa. And I've seen reports that they're not done, right? And that makes them a very scary team considering the offense that they already have. So, yeah, I think with the AFC East, it's a no-brainer that the Bills are going to run away with this one.
All right, so let's just move on to the AFC North because that one's a little bit more interesting, as we said. To me, this is Baltimore's division, similar to the way things stand. In the AFC East. Baltimore, they're in the same spot that Buffalo is in. Like, they just want to get to that chip. They want to find a way to win the chip, and they want to find a way to win the Super Bowl. We've obviously seen both Lamar and Josh Allen win MVP awards in this league. Both of these quarterbacks want to find a way, to win the trophy. Like, the ring is great. They love having the MVP trophy title to their name, but they want a Super Bowl. That is just the reality. And these are two teams that they just keep bowing out to the Kansas City Chiefs. So it feels like a little bit of a repeat record here. Is this the year that one of these teams can get past Kansas City and knock them off that, AFC representative in the Super Bowl? But for the division, I think this is Baltimore's for the taking.
There's so much entertainment just in the AFC conversation. I mean, I feel like we could do a whole show on this just in how competitive it is. But yeah, I think with this one, you're looking at the Bengals, who have an incredible offense, and hopefully Jamar Chase will have the year that he did last year and some. But their defense is just not enough to go against this Ravens team as a whole. You have an elite coach in John Harbaugh, who I completely respect in culture and winning. Zay Flowers too, right? And then you think about Lamar Jackson and how he wants to take this team. And this was a Ravens team that was like one drop pass away from beating the Chiefs last year in the divisional round. And so I think they're a lot closer than they might seem to knocking off that Chiefs team. You never know. It just takes one close game and the right play to go your way. So yeah, I think when you look at this division for the North, Does Aaron Rodgers have the horsepower to overcome Lamar Jackson? I don't know. Maybe in the beginning of the season. I don't see it happening for the Steelers this season, so I'm going to go with the Ravens.
Yeah, I think this is the Ravens, and that's not to say that I don't think that Cincinnati finds a way into the dance and can make some noise and be someone that teams don't want to face come playoff time, because we all know they can rack up points. Like you said, the Achilles heel has been their defense, and are they going to be able to slow things down and not have to put up 50 every week to find a way to win? But I mean, we've seen Joe Burrow go in there and beat Kansas City. It was a few years ago, but we have seen it. So we'll see what the Bengals can do. But in terms of the division, I think this is Baltimore's, and they'll come out on top with bigger goals in mind. All right, AFC South. This has been Houston's division as of late, and I think that there's no reason to see that being a change. DeMeco Ryans obviously got established in his first head coaching gig down there and has really done tremendously with it. I think that this is a team that is going to continue to grow. We saw them maybe take a little bit of a step back in the way things culminated last season. But I think that they're just going to continue to stack wins, stack growth, and find a way to win this division once again this season.
Yeah, I think CJ Stroud is also going to have a better year than he did last year, more mirroring his first year in the NFL. And I think it's really, too, about the teams that are in this division outside of the Texans. You look at the Colts, the Jags, the Titans, not great teams that are still building their identity. The Colts, they're starting out with Daniel Jones for their first time. We will see if he can reboot his career. The Jags and the Titans are in this rebuilding phase, both teams that won 3 or 4 games last season. So I think, yes, this is the Texans, but it's a lot about really who else is in their division.
Yeah. That's the reality. When we saw Tom Brady leave, it was like, well, what division do you want to go to? Because there's certain ones that you basically want to avoid, because it's a lot harder to come out as the division champion and find yourself a little bit of an easier path forward when it comes to the postseason. So this is one of those that it is not as strong as some of the others. I think that, when it comes to Indy, it's going to be interesting to see what Daniel Jones brings to the table. I think Trevor Lawrence has to have a better season in Jacksonville. I don't think that there's any reason to think that he is not capable of having that season, but I think he needs to have a better season. But I also expect CJ Stroud to be improved. I expect DeMeco to continue to build upon what he started in Houston. And I think that the Texans will claim this division. All right, which takes us to the AFC West. If you could just put the coaches up there, I mean, that alone in this division, wow. So look, this has obviously been Kansas City's division. We all know what Andy Reid and company have accomplished, getting to the Super Bowl 3 straight years. They want to get back and find a way to win it again. But the division's getting harder, right? I mean, you got John's brother, Jim, out there now with the Chargers. Obviously, you have Sean Payton, who's done great things with Bo Nix in Denver. I think they're going to continue to build upon that. And then you now have Pete Carroll with the Raiders. So the coaching conglomerate in the AFC West is not one that you would really want to contend with if you didn't have to. But man, it makes it fun for us to see how this is all going to battle out. Who do you like in this division this season, AB?
No, I love that you bring up the coaches, because I actually hadn't really thought about that with this specific division and just the star power really historically that those coaches have and bring to this team. But I think that's what gives Andy Reid and the Chiefs the advantage, right? Because they have a cohesive team with this coaching staff who's been together for multiple years, and not just been together, but been together in the Super Bowl, right? Like, there is something too about going through the fire and going through championship-like moments with your teammates. You build stronger bonds. You understand what it takes in fourth down and fourth quarter situations, and like really the intangibles that come with those moments. And that's going to allow you to propel yourself into the postseason. So I definitely think the Chiefs are still in their dynasty era. Yes, Bo Nix and Sean Payton have an awesome thing going there with the Broncos in Denver. And I think they'll give the Chiefs a run for their money for sure. But I think when you think about the coaching talent in this division, it's incredible. But I really think it's going to come down to the team that has the most cohesion together. And people are saying that this Chiefs team is one of the most talented Chiefs teams that they've had in a long time, which is kind of scary. And especially thinking about how hungry they will be coming off this Super Bowl. So does Travis Kelce have it in him? Does he have the juice to get it done? With the engagement, I think he probably does have a little bit more of that excitement in him. So we'll see, but I think it's definitely the Chiefs for this one.
I mean, he just handed out the ring, so he wants to get his own ring, right? I mean, he just wants another one. He just bought one. He wants to earn another one. I think the Chiefs take this division as well. Who do you see in the AFC Championship, and who wins it?
Man, this is so tough, but I think I got to go with Chiefs Bills. I think this is too iconic of a matchup right now, and I think the Bills are going to take it away. I have a hard time believing that Josh Allen isn't going to be able to get it done. I think there's just something about being defeated enough times in that situation that you just have this ulterior motive. And listen, they signed James Cook to an extension. I think Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid are going to come in big as tight ends for them, and Josh Allen is going to go into Superman mode. Like, he is going to do that, and he's going to get this team to the Super Bowl.
I hope so. Just because I think it's fun to see a different representation there. I also think that this Bills team has come so far and through so much. And
Bills Mafia won't survive if they don't. So,
oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Bills Mafia. It's the truth. It's the truth. I think the Bills could be right there with you. I mean, that's what I have jotted down in my little paper here. So I'm going to stick with it. I was like, should I be different to be different's sake? But that's what I had as well. So we'll see as it all shakes out. Back with more on the other side from you right here on Foxborough Rush. Little bit of mail coming from Coach Gary in 1987. Bills are the team to beat. Stuff. Yep, we agree with you, Coach. Patriots ready for a bounce-back season. I think the Jets will be better without the locker room poison that is Aaron Rodgers. And the Dolphins will finish last in the division. Tyreek Hill is washed up. Yes, tell us what you really think, Coach Gary. We're in agreement. Bills are the team to beat in the division. Hey, Annabelle, always fun hanging with you here on Foxborough Rush.
So awesome, Jade. And yeah, hey, listen, I'm with Coach Gary. The Bills are the team to beat. I mean, we just talked about it on here, and I would even argue that there's also some poison in the Dolphins locker room as well. So lots going on in this AFC conference, but yeah, it's definitely going to be the Bills that are going to be the one to trump.
Yeah, but hey, it's a new era in Foxborough, and we got football coming at us later this week. We'll be back here on Wednesday. More Foxborough Rush. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Labor Day. Get out and enjoy the sunshine. It's a beautiful day. Until next time, see ya.